Okay, I think I'm live and I think I've done it correctly, and I hope you can all hear me. So as promised today, to give you some creative inspiration, I'm going to demo a dreamcatcher. So for those of you that don't know me, I'm Bev. I'm a workshop host in Weston-super-Mare, and I make dream catchers. I also teach people how to do them. So today, on your isolation, I thought I'd bring to you something creative, and today, Dreamcatcher's one. So I wrote earlier on in the post about all the things that you'd need to have. Now, one of those things was a hoop. Today I'm going to be using a, let me just get it, a hula hoop. One for the effect and the fact that it's big. However, for those of you that are stuck at home, like we all are, and you haven't got any hula hoops, these are the things that you could do. Okay, so here is just a cardboard cutout circle of, well, a hoop really, so you can use that. Other things you can use is something I found on the road about a month ago. I have no idea what it is, something off a car, who knows, but it's round and I think it'll do the job. Another thing you can use is an old coat hanger. You can stretch, move and play into shape, just like this. And the other things I have ideas for is a embroidery hoop. You could use that to dream catch. And one thing I really like that I made the other day in the garden out of twigs was this cool circle reef thing. Cool. So before I do get started today, I want to run through well, I actually want to show you a few dream catchers I've previously made, just while we warm up and I get rid of my nerves. So let me show you. Okay, so here is something I made earlier, or not today earlier, but months earlier. I've probably made in my time about 100 dream catchers, and this is just a small one for example. Another one I have is this big dream catcher. So the big dream catcher is the one we're making today, or at least I'll be showing you how to make, so when you're with your family or at other times you can do exactly these things. Okay, right, so there's another one. Also, I wanted to show you these cool little tree of life dream catchers. So if you have any wire, or you can do this again with wool, you don't have to be rigid into making the traditional dream catcher, but this is just kind of for inspiration and ideas. You can do it at a later date. Very cool. One more. So here's one I made out of a coat hanger. I used wire, add loads of beads, and some tails I plaited, and I also added some lights after, but I don't think, oh yeah, just about, I don't think you can really see the lights. There you go. So let me just see if I can get that back up. No, I can't. All right then, let's get going. So I said you will need a hula hoop. I've got that. You will need some fabric. So I chose to use an old curtain that I've got to cut up today. So first things first, we need to wrap some material round our hoop. I mean, you can make a dream catcher net straight onto the hoop. That's entirely up to you, but for effect, I always like to coat them. So this is the cool part. Also, when you're to do or to needless, you will need a pair of scissors. So about 1 centimetre in, just cut the fabric, and this is the fun part. Give it a good rip. Okay. It is a bit of a PE lesson as well as a arts and crafts, because you do need a bit of force to rip some of the material. Okay, sorry, just reading. Hey Shelley, thank you for joining me. Okay. So once you have your material ripped, you can then start to work on the sort of like coating, as you want to call it, for your hoop. How I do this, I literally hold my hoop, I knot it on, just like so. Some people prefer to maybe sellotape it on. That's totally cool. Do whatever you please. So this comes the task of wrapping your whole entire hoop in the fabric that you either ripped earlier or you've just ripped as we're going. I don't actually think that anyone will be making a dream catcher as we go, but I really hope to inspire some people to maybe make some dream catchers with their kids. So the longer the material, the less rips you have to do to get the whole hula hoop covered. Probably isn't as quick going as you think. I think before isolation I was making I was making dreamcatcher packs for people ready to go into isolation, and I think I gave a pack to my friend, and it took her about 3 hours to make a dreamcatcher. So one thing you must have with you is patience when you are making dreamcatchers. So I spend a lot of time running workshops for people who are actually isolated, and ironically enough, that I'm encouraging to get out the house and be creative. And then lo and behold, today I'm actually running a workshop encouraging people to stay at home. It's the irony. So you'll probably have to do about 3 or 4 rips depending on your length of your fabric, but I just want to keep going because I told you I'm going to do the whole demo, and I feel a little bit hideous doing this live because the sound of my own voice gets a little bit boring sometimes. So just to secure that, I just give it a little bit of a rip in 2 and then tie it on. Thank you for all those guys that are putting up really nice messages encouraging me to do this. Because no matter how many times I've done this in a workshop, it doesn't feel the same running it online. So there's the first half of my hula hoop covered. I'm going to do another rip and then I'm going to carry on. Okay, so the thicker and longer your fabric is, cheers James, the thicker and longer your fabric is, the better coverage you're going to get on your hula hoop or your hoop, whatever. So just keep ripping. Please don't start taking your own curtains down. These were lucky enough to be donated to me a while ago from a good friend that lives down the road. So again, I'm just going to knot that on. I'll tie it on. And the other thing is I'm worried that you actually can't see what I'm doing because I have this weird setup in my home bedroom. Okay, so keep wrapping. It really doesn't matter about the don't be too like tidy with it, don't be too neat, because the most important thing is you just make a start and you just get things done. Okay, so just keep wrapping, just keep wrapping. So I'm curious to know how many people actually are going to make a hula hoop dreamcatcher, or I don't know, or have done before, or maybe those people that have been to my workshops before. I'd be really intrigued to see. You post the pictures online to encourage other people. I thought, because I'm so creative, I thought that creativity comes natural to everyone. However, as I find out in my workshops as I'm running them, people sometimes haven't got their own creative license. Sometimes they don't know where to start, or they haven't got the right inspiration, the right tools or the skills. And that is where I come in, and I encourage people. Sometimes it's not actually about the finishing and the making perfect. It's actually about the doing. The art is in the doing, just getting out there and, or staying in there in this case. Okay, I'm going to have to do one more piece of fabric. So again, for those of you that joined, I'm not too sure, just get your piece of fabric, give it a little bit of a snip, and then give it a rip. Okay, cool. So this is actually the easiest part. The hardest part is the web, because they could be quite intricate sometimes. So again, with your hula hoop or your hoop or your hanger, you can cover it in wool, you can cover it in, I've actually been known to cut up my husband's t-shirts to make things. So I'm just going to go again by covering that up. Okay, so just keep wrapping around the hoop. Again, don't worry about it looking too perfect. A lot of people tend to get stressed out that it's not the way they envision it, but nothing is the way we ever envision it. It just is in the doing. Okay, so I'm nearly coming to the end of my hula hoop coverage. I don't even know what it's called, mate. I really don't know. Before I started making dream catchers, I watched probably about 50 videos to kind of get an idea of how they're done, and quite a few people do it different ways. So I'm just going to tie that on and give it a bit of a finish, just like so. Again, I'm worried about you not being able to see what I'm doing. Okay, so my hula hoop is fully covered, and I'm going to get ready because we're going to do the web. Okay, to do this, here's something I made earlier. Okay, going to take my carly off, it's absolutely boiling. I think my husband's turned the heating on and we've had a fire all day. I'm going to put my hair up. Okay, so you can do this by lying it down, or you can do it flat against the wall. It really doesn't matter. But I've chose to use, I don't know, whatever this is. It's like a, I don't know what you put clothes on. I'm just going to tie it on so it has less movement. Now, the things that you needed, I previously posted in the group to let everybody know what they need. And one of those, if you're just joining us, is a hoop of some kind. One of it's the fabric to cover the hoop with. And the next bit is the wool to make the dreamcatcher web with. I'm just going to tie this on so I've got a bit of steadiness. Sorry if you can't see me or hear me. I hope you can all hear me. It's really important, because obviously it kind of defeats the object of me running a workshop. And let me tell you, just in case you all think that I'm a really confident person, I've had a tummy ache all day. I was really nervous about doing it. I've gone live like loads of times, like mad hula hoop in my garden, but today it just happens to be, I freaked out a little bit. Okay, so now the you will need a piece. You will need some string. You need some string that's thanks, James. You will need a piece of string that is good enough to be able to pull on tension. So, for example, if I pull this wool, it's going to snap, so there's no tension in it. This string, I don't even know what it's called. I have no technical ability to tell one wool from the different. I just know it's strong enough that when I pull it, it hasn't got that that break. So, first things first, and this is the hardest bit, but it's actually easier than you think. Okay, so what you need to do is you need to start by tying a knot onto your dreamcatcher wherever you feel like you need to start. So this is really light colour, so I'm worried about again that you're not going to be able to see it, but I really genuinely hope that you get the gist of what I'm going to be talking about. So once you tie your first bit of web on, make sure it's nice and strong so it doesn't move too much. What you're going to do then is you're going to bring it over a little bit. Oh, I can't see it, it's very light. And you're going to loop the whole string onto and you'll end up, I don't know if you can see that, you'll end up with a line across the top. You're going to do that and you're going to repeat that around the whole circle of the hoop. Okay, you're going to need quite a little bit of wool for this, but don't worry if you run out halfway, because there's ways of amending it as you go. So, also, the more points you do to start your dreamcatcher, the more points you give yourself, as in the more like loops you tie it onto here, the more intricate and the more detailed your dreamcatchers will be. Like so. Okay, I'm going to go all the way around. Again, I'm worried that you won't be able to see it, but you'll get it. As it comes together, you will get it. Okay, so across my hula hoop, and then under, loop. No, you can't see it, but I'll bring it back up in a second. Okay, so like I said earlier, I watched about 50 different videos of how to do this, loads of different times, and loads of people do it differently, so this is the way that works well for me. So I'm back at nearly at the top now, so loop over, thread the whole of the wool through and pull, and then I'm going to do it again here, loop and pull through. Now I'm pretty much back to the start. I'm going to go back to the start and tie my piece of wool onto where I started, and then I'm going to start the second layer of my dreamcatcher. So, okay. So it's really hard to see because it's such light string, but you kind of get the feeling of what I'm talking about in a second. So you're going to get this wool and you're going to thread it through each of the, I don't know, the lines of the string that you've just previously made. And what's going to happen, I'm really sorry that you might not be able to see it, you'll start to see a kind of pickup, a kind of web, but you just have to. So what you're doing here, if I repeat, is you're getting your wool and you're threading it through where you've just gone round. Okay, I'll come up to the top in a second so you can see. I'm so sorry about my filming almost. I'm a little bit gutted for you guys and myself. Okay, so here's my piece of wool and here's my ball of wool. I'm going to pop it through and then I'm going to just pull the tension. Okay, and I'm going to go back to this one. I'm going to thread my whole piece of wool through, and then I'm going to do it again. And I'm back to where I started. Can't even see, so I'm back to where I've started, and what I've created is these kind of sections here. Now, the next time I'm going to go all the way around again, exactly what I've just done. So I'm going to thread this wool through these new peaks that I've made. Okay, ready? So in this area you'll start seeing that the shape of the web will start happening. What you want to do is just pull the tension very slightly just to keep the shape, okay? So round you go and through. It's actually a lot easier than I originally thought it was going to be. And I've run many dreamcatcher workshops, and I don't know, they just get quicker. Who knows? I'm just going to wrap my ball back up, and then we're going to go again. So we're going to go through. Now remember what I said at the beginning, the more points you have that you start on your first surface, the more intricate your design will be when you come to your web. Okay, can you see that happening? I don't know if you can see it, but you will. Okay, so I'm going to go now. This is the third time I've gone round. So through, and I don't know if standing this side might even help. Okay, where am I? I'm going to go through. Like I said, the string has to be like a good tension. You're going to be able to pull it without breaking. Embroidery thread's a really good one to use. And of all the dreamcatcher work, have I just gone? I think I've just gone back on myself because I've changed direction, but it really doesn't matter. The art is in the doing, remember guys. Okay, so just going to go through all of these, and then I'm going to keep going. So can you see that that's starting to make a web of some kind? I've messed it because I've come the wrong way, but you get the idea. Okay, let's see if I can fix this. So you go through the points that you created in your last circle. So we go through here. It's a bit like a cat's cradle in regards to like where you need to put your string. And the good news is no one's judging. I hope you're not anyway. And you can just keep doing this web as often as you can, as often as you like. So it really doesn't matter. You can cut it off and start again. Some people in my workshops like to be, you know, have it pretty from the start. So, and they go and they go and they go. Okay, so if you can see, what's happening now is I'm getting that fine kind of lotus flower shape in the dreamcatcher, and then I'm going to go again, and then I'm going to pull it too, and it is that simple, guys. I'm not too sure if you can hear my music in the background or it's like me just really moly talking. I get bored of my own voice too. Here we go. Right, so as I pull that through, can you see that I've managed to create kind of the dreamcatcher effect? Now, there is things you can do to add beads on. You can thread them on. You can, I don't know, make it look pretty by adding feathers. I make it look easy. Thank you, Paige. You make makeup look easy. Okay, so once you've done and you've come into the middle, I'm going to see if I can lift this with my foot so you can get an idea. I'm just going to pull it really tight, and then the trusty scissors that I told you that you'd need, somewhere along the line, give that piece of string a cut, and then tie it in a knot. It's that simple, guys. I know I'm live. Stop messaging. Joking, I'm messing. It's just funny. Okay, cool. Thank you for your patience. Right, so here we have it. There is your dreamcatcher web. Bum, ba, bum. It's not the tidiest one I've ever made, but I'm really nervous about this. Yes, so. Okay, I'm going to just tidy it up by giving it a little cut. Not the actual web. And then what you'll end up with, just these loose little bits you can make look tidy. Da, 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 da. Okay, so that actually happened a lot quicker than I was expecting. So the next part is the funnest part for me, and it's the tails. So the tails on the dreamcatcher, as you can see here in these ones, my style of dreamcatcher, they tend to be quite thick and skirt-like. I kind of like it. And this is just a ripped up tie-dye sheet. Okay, so same as we did earlier, the tails are really fun. So same thing we did earlier, you can use the same piece of fabric, it doesn't really matter. I'm going to do that because I have absolutely loads of these curtains. Okay, so again, cuts. And for those of you that are just joining me, thanks. I really appreciate your support, guys. Okay, give it a good rip. Da, 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 da. I'm going to make it shorter. So when putting the tails onto a dreamcatcher, you need to know that the longer your piece of fabric is, the longer your tails will be. What I tend to do with the long pieces or the short pieces is fold the fabric in two, because what's going to happen then, when we add it to our hoop, this is how you do it. You're going to loop it, and then you're going to pull. Oh, that's a really bad description. Okay, so you're going to loop it, and then you're going to pull your tails through, and then you're going to bring it down like that. And that is going to be your, it's probably not the best way to show you because it's sort of, okay, and they're going to sit like that. Now you can do that as many times along the bottom of your dreamcatcher. I'm going to spend a couple of minutes in front of the camera doing that, just so that I feel like I finished the whole job of the dreamcatcher. And you guys, if you ever watch this back, or I don't delete it because it's hideous, I will show you what it looks like. Okay, so like I said earlier, fold your fabric nice and long into, slip it under and pull your two tails all the way through. And if you can see, and I don't know if you can, there is your first tail onto your dreamcatcher. Again, it doesn't matter what size your dreamcatcher is, it can be small. Oh, and here's one I made another time. I tend to give to my, well, some of my friends. This is a little dreamcatcher I made using a curtain circle. I don't know what they're called, like things you put curtains up with. Okay, so rip some fabric, sorry about the noise. Fold in half, thread under, pull your tails through. Done. Okay, same again. I'm going to do 3 or 4 of these so you get the feels of exactly what I'm talking about. Okay, rip, or not. Okay, and again, so fold your fabric into, make a little, I don't know what you call that, a loop, and pull your tails through. Okay, like I said, I am going to be hideous enough to run through a few more of those for the full dreamcatcher effect. Snip your fabric. I'll be intrigued to know what people use as fabric. I'm sure that, you know, with everything shut, or how resourceful it could be. I have this mantra: you are only as limited as your own imagination. Okay, rip, rip, rip. Also, I'm thinking about doing more online live workshops, and a friend suggested that I maybe teach people how to do mandalas. For those of you watching, give me a thumbs up, or give me a nay, or give me some ideas, because, you know, we all need inspiration. So I'm going to do 2 more of those, and you're pretty much done and completed for a workshop. Fold, loop, pull your tails through. Sorry, I realise I forget that I'm actually live and supposed to be talking, or you don't want to see my forehead. You you want to see what I'm doing. Okay, so with the fabric, those of you that are just joining me, I'm making a dream catcher. This is your demonstration. Use Zoom so you can video this. I don't know if I can do that. I don't know how to do that. Sorry. Maybe you can give me a tech lesson. I'm just reading the comments as I'm going, so I'm not just talking to myself. Okay, again, fold in half. You get a nice tail. And don't worry about being too tidy. Just don't worry about being too tidy. Don't worry about getting it perfect. There is no, if you're striving for perfection, you're going to get it wrong anyway, because there's no such thing. So just be like really fluid with it and enjoy your time. You know, although it's unfortunate that what's happening in the world is happening, we have to find a positive outlet, and my outlet has always been creativity. So if all else fails, be creative. And you don't know until you try. Okay, so fold it, loop it, put it through, pull the tails through. Okay, normally I would probably, I'm just going to take this off a second to show you what I've done so far. So this is the dreamcatcher tails. This is your dreamcatcher on a hula hoop, demonstrated by Bev G Star. Normally I would like really fill out the dreamcatcher and I would go a bit crazy, but I'm starting to doubt myself a little bit that this was a good idea, but I think I'm going to be fine. I think I'm going to be fine. So do you want me to carry on? I don't know. I don't know if I should carry on filling it. I get bored of my own voice. So dreamcatcher, hoop, material, string, tails, child. You can't see her, but she's here. She's came into the room. Right, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, I think that is about it for your dreamcatcher tutorial. So what I want to see is anybody that makes one, if you could maybe post it and show me, you know, hello. Thanks. Don't work with children or animals. So I'm going to probably leave it there so you get the general gist of it. Thank you very much for your time. Stay positive, be creative, especially in your isolation. I know you do, let's say bye together. So don't forget to be creative, stay cool, stay indoors, and just be loving. She is so weird, she is so weird. I bribed her with a lollipop to stay out of the room, but she's obviously eating through that. Lots of love. So my next workshop or next inspiration is going to be how to draw a mandala. So I hope that you can join me for that. See you later. Peace, guys. Stay well. I actually don't know how to stop the video. Oh, here we go. Finish. Peace.
Bye bye.